Talk for just a second about strategic planning. It is very helpful for a grant writer, whether they are a contract grant writer or a staff person, to have access to a strategic plan for any nonprofit that they're going to be writing grants for. Lots of reasons for this. One, it really helps clarify from the organization's perspective what it is they're trying to do and how it is they're trying to get there. It helps support the grant writing process by saying, this is why we're writing this grant, this is what we're hoping to accomplish with it, this is what we're hoping to have out in 2 years, etc., etc. It helps with the creation of goals and objectives. It helps create outcome projections. It helps create evaluation methods. And once that's created in a document like a strategic plan, it's a lot less work on staff and departments to be able to say what they're going to do and how they're going to do it. You don't have to recreate the wheel every time you write a new program or project grant. Heck, you don't even have to do that when you write organization grants, because you've already got your goals and objectives created and approved at a board level for the whole organization. And hopefully your staff have been a part of that process and can use that tool. When I was a development director, it was my strongest tool in my fundraising toolkit to be able to take that strategic plan to a donor and say, here's our 3-year plan. This is what we've already accomplished. This is how we're going to get to the next level. This is where we'll be at the end of next year. We'd love for you to be a part of that. Some foundations ask for a copy of your strategic plan. And I'll just be honest, lately I've worked in the past couple of years with organizations who didn't have a strategic plan, who had no idea where they wanted to be or how they wanted to get there, spent a year or more in the strategic planning process, and it does not take that long. Okay? Anybody who's telling you, oh my God, it's going to take you a year to put your strategic plan together is crazy. It does not take that long. It might take that long if your board's not involved, if nobody can come to a consensus on what it is you want to do and how you want to do it, and if nobody can make a decision to move forward with it. Yes, it might take that long. I have worked with people who have taken way longer than a year, but it shouldn't. It doesn't need to. This process can happen in a much quicker time frame. You know, it can happen in a week to 3 months. Can be a successful strategic planning process. It can be longer depending on the size organization you're working with and the number of departments that you're working with, if it's a national organization or international organization that has lots and lots of different things to put into that strategic plan. But for most small to mid-sized nonprofits, it does not take that long. So back to the conversation, off my soapbox. If you aren't providing your development staff or your contract development staff with your strategic plan, or you haven't even thought about a strategic plan, I'm going to encourage you to stop what you're doing and sit down and figure that piece out with your board. Because even if you're a new nonprofit, or you're thinking about starting a nonprofit, or you're in your first year of being a nonprofit, you should have a strategic plan. So in the for-profit world, we call that a business plan. It's exactly the same thing. It's a strategic plan. It says who you are, where you want to be, and how you're going to get there. It's your finance plan. It's your donor relations plan. If you have a membership model, it's how you're going to grow that. It's how you're going to impact the community. What are your major programs and your primary activities? And put it all in writing with timelines and who's accountable and goals and objectives and measurable outcomes. So if you're not doing that, you're really tying the hands of the person that you're asking to help you raise money, whether it's through grant writing or any other means, whether you're going to talk to people about planning gifts, whether you're going out into the community and making an ask of a civic organization, or you're trying to develop a business sponsorship program. If you don't have the ability to say who you are, what you're doing, and how you're going to get there, it's hard to get people to give you money. It's hard to be able to share with them what the return on their investment is going to be, because you haven't really put it down on paper for yourself. So if you haven't gotten there yet, I encourage you to start the process. I'm not saying you can go out today and have a strategic plan by next week, but once you start the process, once you're committed to that, it shouldn't take terribly long if you have the right people helping you. So I encourage you to do that. Talk with your board, talk with your staff, and see if you can't get that in hand so you can make it easier for folks to give you money. All right, keep growing for good. We'll see you soon.